Hey, everybody. This is Brian Altounian. I'm sitting in for Don Baillargeon on this segment of Money TV. And with me today is Addie Ashmore from Bottom Line Savings. And today we're going to be talking about the Employment Retention Tax Credit. So Addie, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. For people who don't know anything about the ERC program, as it's called, Employee Retention Credit, will you give a little summary, a little update on, just tell people what it is so that they understand?
Absolutely. Very simply put, this is a COVID payroll refund for businesses that continued to operate and continued to pay W-2 employees during the pandemic. It was created under the CARES Act in 2020 alongside the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, which everyone was familiar with. And most businesses did take advantage of PPP, but at the time you could only choose one program. And now that ERC was revised in 2021, you're able to take advantage of this program as well, even if you took both rounds of PPP. And remember, you do not have to pay this money back. You do not have to get a forgiveness letter. And when you receive the refund, the money can be spent in any way you want. You've got to think about it as just getting a refund on your own money. And when have we ever been able to get a refund on payroll expense? It's kind of amazing, right? And so the program's created for businesses 5 to 500 W-2 employees. And the specific time period we're looking at is 2020 and the first 3 quarters of 2021.
Got it. So if a company has a lot of 1099 contractors, they don't qualify for the program.
They would not qualify, Brian. This is only for W-2 employees.
Okay, great. And Addie, what if a company has a bunch of part-time W-2 employees, or how is that calculated differently?
Great question. Of course, we work with a lot of restaurants, and in the hospitality industry, you're going to always have a lot of part-time employees. And for this program, 30 hours a week is considered full-time. But we're going to always bridge together those part-time hours to create as many full-time equivalents as possible for our calculations.
Awesome. So that sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like the calculations take a lot of work. And I would think that some companies may be afraid of wanting to do this because of all of the work involved. So do they do it, or do you guys process these calculations?
We're going to do everything, Brian, from start to finish. And for anyone that did the PPP on their own, I talk to these businesses every day and they said, oh, we are so thankful that we are using a service for the ERC because we do not want to get involved in that again. And look, the process is very simple with us. We're going to collect your documents. We will need the 941s, your payroll journals, any PPP forgiveness letters, and we'll have a number for you in about 15 days. It all starts with a short phone call where we make sure you qualify for the program. And there are 2 separate ways to qualify. One way to qualify is by having a revenue reduction, and the other way to qualify is by having an operational impact.
Awesome. So would you mind give a couple of examples of what an operational impact may look like?
Supply chain issues, reduction in workforce, not being able to travel, not being able to have group meetings, suppliers not being able to make deliveries of critical goods or materials. All of those are considered operational impacts that 100% qualifies you for the money, even if you did not have a revenue reduction at all.
That's amazing. It sounds like almost every company would qualify for this. Yeah.
We can certainly check it out. We just have to confirm that there was the operational impact. And, the revenue decline, it has to be quite substantial. You would need a 50% decline from 19 to 20 to qualify for 2020, and a 20% decline from 19 to 21 to qualify. So that's why a lot of businesses don't meet that mark. And the IRS did include this second way to qualify. So it's absolutely worth checking out.
Interesting. And what do you think, what's the amount of money that people can look at getting back? And is there a range, and is there kind of an average? What do those look like?
Great question. So what really moves the needle on how much you're going to get back per full-time W-2 is the amount of PPP that you took. We do have to back out the PPP money that was used on wages when we do our calculations. And we see on average, it's about $10,000 for every full-time W-2 if you took PPP. If you didn't take any PPP, you'd be looking at more of around the $15,000 to $16,000 range for every full-time W-2 employee.
That's amazing. If a company had 100 employees, that's a substantial amount of money.
Absolutely. And we're seeing these refunds every day. And again, the IRS is going to send you a paper check. It's sent directly to you. And this is a refund. This is a refund on your own money.
And last question I'll ask you on this is that do companies then, do they pay you up front for the fee? Do they pay you? How does that work? What's it cost a company to explore this process?
It does not cost anything to get started. It's been our business model for 14 years that we work on a contingency only basis. We would never invoice you until we confirm that you have the check from the IRS in hand. So we're going to be doing all the work for free.
Amazing. So we say this all the time, but it's really like found money, it sounds like, yeah?
I say that all the time. I call it free money and I call it found money.
And I said the last one was the last question. This is really the last question.
Okay.
How long does it take roughly to get the check back from the IRS? You're going to give them an answer in about 15 days. And then how long does it take for the IRS to actually issue them their refund?
Brian, we're seeing on average 4 to 6 months.
Okay, good. So that's for companies that need to plan ahead of time. If they qualify and they get the number, then they know that 4 to 6 months, more or less, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little less, that they'll be able to get that refund. And it's not a loan, it's a rebate, and they get that money back and they can do anything they want with that. Is that right?
I've actually heard some really amazing stories, Brian, of how people in small businesses have used this money. Some have given it back to their employees. Some have worked on their structures. They put a new roof on the building. They've bought new supplies or new vehicles for their landscaping business or their plumbing business. It really is a true blessing to so many small businesses that really, really suffered during the pandemic.
It really is amazing. Addie Ashmore from Bottom Line Savings, thank you so much. For the people who are listening to this, we'll be able to provide a link that you can click on to get more information about the program, and then you can set an appointment with Addie or any of the many qualified representatives to help you go through that process. So Addie, thank you for taking the time. For Money TV and for Don Baillargeon, I'm Brian Altounian. Thank you all for joining us in this segment.
Thank you, Brian.